You may think what you want about Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, and I'm personally not a big fan of Bezos or Amazon. But what strikes me about him is that he knows how to harness the power of long-term thinking like no other person.
If we think long-term, we can accomplish things that we couldn't otherwise accomplish. So if I came up to you, Werner, and I said, look, I want you to solve world hunger in 5 years, you would rightly decline the challenge. But if I said, Werner, I want you to solve world hunger in 100 years, now that's more interesting. And all we've done there is change the time horizon.
In this video, I show you the 3 biggest obstacles to long-term thinking and what Bezos does differently. The first obstacle is intuition without reflection. Long-term thinking requires a skill that scientists call cognitive reflection. For example, a typical question to test cognitive reflection is this. A bat and a ball together cost $11. The bat costs $10 more than the ball. How much does the ball cost? The intuitive first answer to this question is $1. Unfortunately, this answer is not correct. If the ball would cost $1 and the bat costs $10 more, then the bat would cost $11. The ball and the bat together would then cost $12 and not $11. The correct answer to this problem is the ball costs 50 cents. Then the bat would cost $10.50 and the ball and the bat together would cost $11. But why does that matter? Yale professor Shane Frederick was able to show that people who do very well on such tests consequently suppress their first intuitive impulse also have more patience. People with a high cognitive reflection, for example, would be more likely to opt for earning $3,800 in 4 weeks than just $300, $400 immediately. They are willing to wait longer if it means they can expect a higher premium. The opposite is true for people with low cognitive reflection. A similar correlation is also seen with the topic of risk aversion. So people with high cognitive reflection have more patience and also take greater risks. Cognitive reflection is a fundamental skill that varies in each person, but it can also be developed. Instead of following your first impulse, you should see it only as one possible solution. It is sometimes worthwhile to think longer, to use pen and paper, or to turn on the calculator. To do this, you need humility above all else and a different, more positive attitude toward being wrong. So the next time you want to make an impulsive decision, think twice and be humble enough to consider that your first impulse may not be the best decision. The second hurdle that keeps many from thinking long-term is wishful thinking without love for the process. Entrepreneurs are usually optimists.
I think one of the biggest mistakes people generally make, and I'm guilty of it too, is wishful thinking. You know, like you want something to be true even if it isn't true. And so you ignore the things that, you ignore the real truth because of what you want to be true.
Optimists believe that they are more successful than the average, while simultaneously have to invest less time and effort for it. This wishful thinking that most entrepreneurs and innovators share drives them to try things that seem difficult to impossible, but is also one of their greatest weaknesses. Researchers at the University of Maryland were able to prove that there's a correlation between wishful thinking and procrastination. In particular, when it comes to tasks that wishful thinkers consider not enjoyable, they are more inclined than realists to put them off while still believing that they will manage to do well. So if you're an optimist, chances are that you suffer from procrastination a lot. The same principle why optimists procrastinate also underlies short-term thinking. Because optimists plan too optimistically and ambitiously, they also estimate times unrealistically and always assume the best case, without any delays. The idea that achieving something big may take 10, 20 or 30 years is therefore particularly difficult for wishful thinkers. So if you're an optimist, you should think as hard as you can about all the setbacks and problems that can occur and plan for them. Jeff Bezos is aware that everything takes time and that the path is marked by many setbacks. That's why he does everything he can to ensure that the path to his goal has a positive and exciting connotation. He calls this approach Gradatim ferociter.
Gradatim ferociter. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means step by step ferociously, and it's the motto for Blue Origin. Basically, you can't skip steps. You have to put one foot in front of the other. Things take time. There are no shortcuts, but you want to do those steps with passion and ferocity.
The third big obstacle is the influence of friends, family, and shareholders. The influence of friends, family, and in the case of publicly traded companies, shareholders, can lead to bad decisions and short-term thinking. Few internet entrepreneurs have had to hear so many times that their company does not make a profit and is therefore completely overvalued. For decades, Amazon stock was mocked and revealed on Wall Street, and Jeff Bezos had to defend himself for it time and again.
Let's talk about profit, or in your case, the complete lack thereof, famously.
See, this is Henry's version of being nice to me.
So let's just establish this once and for all. Can Amazon make money?
Bezos repeatedly propagated that Amazon was not concerned with the current quarter.
We've been called Amazon.toast.
Right, I remember.
Amazon.con, Amazon.bomb. This is all like the first 3 years of our existence.
Sure, yeah.
The influence of friends and family also makes it hard to have long-term faith in something that doesn't look like success right away. Jeff Bezos was always aware that his employees were at the mercy of family pressure.
Every employee has read the Amazon.toast article. Every mother of every employee has read the Amazon.toast article and has called and said,
your father and mother who live here in New York.
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah.
In order not to be infected by this short-term thinking in his environment, Bezos swears by symbols and things that show the right perspective. For instance, in the entrance hall of Amazon, there is an Ice Age cave bear which shows how quickly extinction is possible. It is a warning that complacency can lead to extinction. Bezos is also a well-read person who studies a lot of history. In an early presentation about Amazon, a young nerdy Jeff Bezos compared the development of the internet to the beginning of electrification.
We are at the 1908 Hurley washing machine stage with the internet. That's where we are.
He's also one of the biggest donors of the Long Now project, which among other things is building a giant clock in the mountains of West Texas that will chime 10,000 years. Bezos believes that long-term thinking can be fostered by such symbols. The Long Now website says, this is one of several projects by Long Now to foster long-term thinking in the context of the next 10,000 years. If you have difficulties thinking long-term, then I recommend to you to occupy yourself more with history, philosophy or astrophysics to change your horizon and with it also your time perspective. If people around you criticize you or doubt you, consider carefully whether they have the relevant expertise. If not, then consider their criticism as confirmation that you are on the right track. Because if no one doubts you, then you're probably playing it too safe. Those were the three biggest hurdles that 99% of all people fail at when it comes to long-term thinking. If you want to learn more about the psychology of innovation, please subscribe to my channel and hit that bell button so that you can be notified about future videos. If you found this video interesting, let me know in the comments below, and when you scroll up, make sure to hit that like button as well. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video.